Have you ever came back from vacation and felt like you're finally yourself again? Like you remembered how to breathe deeply, to eat slow, and smile without forcing it? And then bam, Monday hits. Emails, meetings, all the to-do lists. That feeling you had on vacation fades fast. But what if I told you you were meant to have a mini reset like that every single week? Welcome to Casual Evangelization, where the seeds of truth are planted and hearts are invited to grow. I'm the Mad Sower. If you're new here, we're honored to have you on this journey. Today, we're going to talk about the third commandment, remembering the Sabbath day. But it's not just a rule. I want to explore it really as a gift. It's this weekly ability and chance to slow down, to breathe deeply, and connect with what matters most. So if you're new here, one of the things we shared in our last podcast is that we have a 10 Commandments spiritual guide discussion, which is on the website. And in our small group, as we were discussing the third commandment, if there was a theme that resonated the most, it was centered around time spent with family. It was also centered around just our mindset. As we go to Mass, we move through Mass and we get through our Father, and the next thing you know, we're back on to our normal life. And we sometimes forget how to rest on Sunday and really what was intended for that Sunday. So as we dive in, want to think a little bit about, how this third commandment, it's not just a speed bump in the week, but it's really an invitation for our hearts. Like, how do we reshape the rest of the week in the way that we utilize Sunday? Now, oftentimes, we get busy in life. Everything from overscheduled activities like sporting events or social events to the endless scrolling and screen time, or just simply catching up on everything. But the Sabbath, it was created to be a time spent with family, a time spent to worship, and a time spent so we can be filled in a way that we can pour Christ out into the world. If we think about our home, the Sabbath was intended to be a sacred time for rest and communion. If we go back to the early days, people met in homes, they break bread, and they shared life together. What if we looked at Sunday in a way that this is a day for relational renewal? We can begin every Sunday with a family prayer. We could spend a few minutes after Mass just reflecting on the takeaway from homily, or what you may have felt Jesus prompting to you after communion. The simple lighting of a candle after Mass is one way to have a tangible activity that can be incorporated into your routine. Or what if you had an afternoon on Sunday where you committed to be phone-free or project-free and doing something together, like prioritizing a Sunday meal? The other thing we have to consider when we look at Sundays as a day of rest is our preparation for Mass and receiving the Eucharist. How often does distraction take over while we're at Mass? Sometimes it's kids crying. Sometimes it's what somebody's wearing. Or even the music's not that great. But if we truly believe that the Eucharist is Jesus, body, blood, soul, and divinity, then every Sunday is an opportunity for us to prepare to receive Christ and to be a vessel of Him in this world. Mass is greater than just an obligation. It's a miracle that we get to enter into. It's how we dress It's where our minds are when we arrive, how we're listening to the readings, and ultimately, how we receive the Eucharist. It all matters. We don't just go to Mass. We go to meet Christ and to be changed by Him. We become vessels of Christ each and every time we receive Him at Mass. It's interesting, right? In our daily lives, when we prepare for different meetings where outcomes are on the line, like big meetings at work or in sports, we prepare, we get ready. But imagine the outcomes if we prepare for receiving Christ with our hearts, with intentionality. A few ways to come into Mass with some intentionality is to be able to read the readings before Mass and arrive early for quiet prayer. During the consecration, it's important to remember that heaven is touching earth at every Mass said around the world. And when you go to receive the Eucharist as if it was your first, last, and only time. One additional thing we're called to on Sunday is to be living vessels, and that we carry Christ with us. The priest says, "Go in peace to love and serve the Lord." It's not a dismissal, but it's actually the priest commissioning you. On Sunday, Mass is not the end, but it's the launch pad for your mission as a follower of God. You become a tabernacle, a vessel of Christ, wherever you are. You're bringing Christ and that light of Christ into the world. On Sundays, there are a few practical things you can do after church. In the evening, you could reflect and set spiritual goals for the week. You can do an act of service with your family, like visiting somebody who's lonely, or writing a note, or delivering food to somebody in need. And you could always ask yourself, where will I bring Christ this week? The Sabbath is not just about stopping work, but it's a call to start living with intentionality. It's the day we are fed by the Word and the Eucharist, united with our families, and recommissioned to go out into the world. When we keep the Sabbath holy, we're not just honoring God, but we're becoming more like Him. And that changes everything. So in the midst of our weekends, how often do we fill Sunday with various errands or catching up on things or sports, and then we wonder, why are we still exhausted come Monday? Where's that feeling when I came off a vacation and I was able to breathe and to live a little bit slower and have a big smile on my face? As you step into this week, one thing to try is to guard your Sundays. Protect it. Don't just keep the Sabbath. Receive it. Let it be your soul's weekly vacation. I want to encourage you to try planning your Sunday in the way that you would plan any other time off, with intention, with reverence, with room to exhale. If you haven't read our latest blog on this topic, visit casualevangelization.com and let the Sabbath speak to your heart in a new way. And if this message resonates with you, chances are it'll speak to someone you know. Take a moment to share it and help plant a seed in somebody else's life. As we're growing, I do want to ask that you like and share this episode. It may help reach someone else who might be searching for peace or purpose. Thanks for being part of that. And thanks for spending time with us. As you go, may the seeds planted today take root and bear fruit in your life. Keep growing, keep seeking, and remember, you're never walking alone. Until next time, stay rooted in truth and open to the journey ahead. May peace find you today.